kind of reception have you had to this specific project from university students, professors, and the universities themselves?
It's kind of a mixed reaction. Some people immediately get the concept of open data. Open data is a big concept right now.
Yeah.
The idea being there's a lot of information in the world, and the more people have access to it, the more interesting things we can do with it. And lecturers and university admin who are excited about open data see the project immediately and they want to be part of it, they share their information. Others look at us and they think, why are you asking me for this information? You must have a hidden agenda. We really don't have a hidden agenda. We really just believe in the open data. And so they've taken some more persuading. But it's early days. That project's been running a few months, and we'll see where it goes.
Do you run into any legal trouble with reprinting books? I know you said that the publishers and the authors do get their royalty fees still, but have you run into any legal trouble?
So far, no legal trouble, because we've been really careful from the beginning.
Yeah.
My background is as a book publisher. I really understand the pressures publishers are under, and I appreciate, love, and understand copyright law and why it's critical for our industry. At the same time, I'm a big supporter of open licensing and sharing. I think that we can use all these tools to really increase access to books. So we've carefully designed Paperight in a way that makes sure that publishers' interests legally and financially are protected, and the copy shops can play ball. Obviously, some people are still wary of how do you even begin to make photocopying illegal, but it's really possible. Right now, we're also rolling out a system where we want people to be able to use Paperight to pay when they make a photocopy of a book, so that it's not illegal, because some people do want to pay the author for the work that they're copying.
Now, how do you see Paperight unfolding over the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see this really taking off and almost replacing how we consume literature?
Paperight is one piece of a puzzle of really revolution that's happening in book distribution. Traditionally, the way a publisher produces a book is they print a couple of thousand copies and they put them in a warehouse, and then they wait for the sales to come in. It's a massive risk. You tie up cash in that stock, you can lose out in projects big time. If instead you're printing the book as the customer asks for it, in the same way that you deliver an ebook as the customer asks for it, then all that risk disappears and you only produce the books as and when they're needed. Suddenly publishing, especially for small companies, becomes much less risky, and that should grow literature in itself. So Paperight, along with a number of other initiatives, is part of that puzzle of making books truly on demand, to the point that in several years' time you'll walk into a suburban bookstore and there may be books on the shelves for you to browse, but the one you buy the way and you walk out the store with is printed for you right there on the spot.
Wow. Now, have you been able to establish some of these copy shops or places where people can go to get books printed in areas where maybe there are no bookshops or there are no libraries?
Yeah, that was the most exciting part about Paperight and about having the Shuttleworth Foundation's investment, because the Shuttleworth Foundation said, we don't want you to make money right now, we want you to have social impact. We'll worry about money around the corner. And so we got to go into small villages and find copy shops there and set them up. Not nearly as many as we would like. It was really just the beginning of a process. But we've seen hundreds of books, particularly for matric study, downloaded and printed out in small towns like Pedi in the Eastern Cape, but also in the poorest parts of Khayelitsha and Gugulethu. So it's great to have impact there.
Now, what kind of feedback have you had from the people who are using these shops in the smaller towns and smaller areas?
Generally, everyone's excited to be able to offer a new service. There is some uncertainty about how it fits into their business. And often running businesses in those areas is very uncertain in itself. Businesses can last only months. And we've been trying to work with them to figure out how to manage that. But what surprised me was how easy it was to have people embrace the concept and run with it. And for the first several months that we were around, it's leveled out now, but for the first several months, far more books were sold in underprivileged areas than in suburban cities. That's leveled out as we've grown. But certainly that's where we made our biggest impact at first.